Hey everybody, it's Reggie with Lawyer Interviews. Today we are talking to Jamal, who is an attorney out of Atlanta, Georgia. Hi Jamal.
How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I am making it. A
You're
little
making it.
nervous. I feel like I've been screaming too much, apparently.
Well, don't lawyers always scream too much? Well, thanks for joining us today. I know that you're an attorney out of Atlanta, Georgia, and you practice personal injury, right?
I do.
Awesome. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about how long you've been practicing and yeah, I'll let you take over.
So I am fairly young, I would say. It'll be 4 months, I believe, this month, actually 4 years. This month is the anniversary of positive bar results. I got sworn in November, so I guess whichever one you want to call it. But yeah,
Right.
so not
Very,
too long, still young.
you're still young, but feeling like you're getting in the flow of being an attorney after 4 years.
Oh, certainly. You learn a little something new every day in this particular profession. I mean, you'll never run out of things to learn. So
Amen. Very fun. So now your firm is located out of Atlanta.
it is.
Okay, very neat. And do you work for a law firm or are you a solo practitioner?
I work for a firm.
Very cool. And is it a medium, small?
I guess you would call it medium. I think we have 5 attorneys, but we just hired another one. So that'll be six. And then we're waiting on a young man's bar results who, at the same time as mine, he'll be getting that in about a week or two. So not too far from now at all. So hopefully that'll be number 7.
Number 7, very cool. Wasn't that a fun experience waiting for the bar results? By fun, I mean like just anxious, right?
I was actually not too terribly concerned. Maybe that's the sports, maybe that's the chill nature of it, but I wasn't. I wasn't too concerned.
Well, you're probably really smart too, so you're like, I got this.
I won't give myself too much credit.
So, Jamal, tell me what, in your opinion, it's like for you as a practicing lawyer.
You don't get much sleep. That's one thing. But in all seriousness, it is very fulfilling. I guess I would say. Um, it is long hours. It's definitely not a 9 to 5 job. But in the same sense, you kind of control your hours a bit. At my firm, I essentially, control what I do. Uh, it's just get the job done. That's the way I look at it. So you do what you need to do to get the job done.
Absolutely.
So I'm not, I'm an attorney, so I bring in money to the firm. So I don't have any PTO or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to take a vacation when I want to, but I get paid on what I do. So that's kind
Right.
of.
Absolutely. Well, so on that note, attorneys are working just crazy hours, like you said, not a lot of sleep. So, how do you find balance in your life to do fun things or to help cope with that stress?
Well, so I mean, and we kind of just hit on it a little bit, there. I do control my hours quite a bit. I mean, I do need to be available, obviously, during normal work hours because that's when adjusters are working, defense attorneys are working, and that's typically the time when clients are going to be reaching out to you. But I make myself fairly accessible. Some people abuse it, but that's okay. Luckily, that's not the majority.
Right.
Um, but you just kind of have to monitor your time. So, if you want to do recreational activities and stuff of the like, you almost have to plan for it. And I'm not a big planner, but you have to get used to it and kind of put your day together.
Yeah.
I very very often use my calendar, which also goes straight to my phone to kind of keep me updated on things.
The live and die by the scheduling orders or vacation around them. So tell me a little bit about what you like to do for fun when you're not lawyering.
I think I'm fairly, like a lot of other people, I enjoy hanging out with my friends. A nice drink is always enjoyable. Uh, I'm a pretty active person. I lift weights pretty often. I try to work out every day if I can.
Okay.
I do it, very consistently. I read pretty often, pretty avid reader. I don't watch a ton of TV, but I do enjoy sports, so I will definitely watch football or boxing or something like that when it's on.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
But
So football, you got a football team?
I do have a football team.
Let's hear
I
it.
am originally from South Carolina, so we don't really have any sports teams there. So
Right.
I'm kind of all over. So I'm actually a Florida Gators fan for college sports, and I'm a New England Patriots fan for NFL sports.
Patriots. All right. There you go. Very cool. So, and then weightlifting. Okay. So we got to talk about the weightlifting. So what got you started in wanting to weightlift? Was it just to relieve stress, or was it something that you liked doing before law school?
Oh yeah, I started lifting weights probably well seriously in high school. I mean, I would lift a weight here or there, and when I was younger, but I didn't really understand what I was doing. But you have to be in shape for sports, and I've played football, so it's very important that I have some level of strength with that. And now it's just more of an activity thing, trying to stay in shape, trying to feel good, look good, that type of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And do you feel that the exercise helps you practice as a lawyer? Do you think it helps with your stress or with time management, or just to distract you? Do you feel like it's a helpful activity for you?
That's actually a somewhat difficult question, because it takes up a good amount of time. I
Okay.
wake up fairly early to go lift weights. I wake up around 4 in the morning, and so yeah, so if there are some days where I don't lift weights, I have a whole lot more time to myself, and I won't lie and say that's not enjoyable. But most of the time, I do it pretty consistently.
Right.
Um, I guess I would say it's a good stress relief. It's definitely a good jolt to the morning. I'm up at that point, and so, and it's just important to stay active. It's important to stay active for your health. I mean, I might not uh, accept it as much now in my younger years, but if you talk to any older person who continue to stay active, they can tell you it's incredibly beneficial.
Oh,
So, thinking about it from that perspective, I also care about how my body looks, and if you don't stay in shape, your body will start telling on you, especially as you get older. Heck, it's already starting to do that now. So I will notice if I'm not active. So I do. That is very important to me.
absolutely. It's the worst. Getting older, it's the worst. You start feeling it.
It's so bad because I mean it's a noticeable difference from when I was like 20.
Yeah,
When I started noticing things immediately, like you can't even jump back as quickly,
I
you know,
know.
in your early 20s. So I definitely don't want to be trying to figure out how it's going to be when I turn 50. That's just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. I mean, which is like, 50 years away, right? Or who's counting? So, all right. Well, that's all. I mean, that's really, really cool. Okay, so you weight lift. Do you have like an amount you're willing to share with everybody of how much you can lift?
It depends on the lift.
Well, all right. Let's give me your most impressive list here, Jamal. Lift, excuse me.
Um, I don't really know what my maxes are because I don't
Okay.
max out that often anymore. That can get a bit dangerous. And so most of the time it's more of an active thing, but I will get up pretty heavy. Um, my best bench press ever. I'm probably never going to be back there because that was back in college. But I could bench press like pretty close to 500 in. Yeah, in all seriousness. But I was younger. And
Wow.
so yeah, now it's probably around the 440 range.
Very cool.
But I've been trying to build it back up. My squat now is probably about 600 pounds. And then I can deadlift probably around it's high sevens. So I did 765 a couple of weeks ago, but I am coming off of a car wreck in November, so that actually weakened me pretty good for the deadlifts and the squats. I couldn't squat for quite a while because I could not take the compression on my spine.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I am starting to get back into it. So I am starting to build the strength back up. The only thing that really stayed was the bench press. So I didn't have much issues doing bench press, but obviously with back problems, I couldn't deadlift or squat.
Oh,
So I've only been squatting probably since for the past 4 months. Just trying to get back to where I was at. I could deadlift probably about 2 months after the wreck, but I just would have to do sumo because it would kind of take some of the pressure off my lower back.
yeah.
So I couldn't
Absolutely.
really do the conventional, but it's worked out fine. I'll be all
That's
right.
really
But
impressive.
luckily I'm still young, so I was able to bounce back fairly quickly.
Good. Well, that's really impressive. I mean, so you're a personal injury attorney and you got in an accident. How was that?
Well, I mean, I understand the process, so
Yeah.
it didn't go too badly.
Hopefully the other party was insured.
They had minimum limits, but I, protect myself with having uninsured motorist coverage because there was multiple cars in
Oh, okay.
so it
I'm
was,
glad
it
you're
was
okay.
pretty bad. But it was multiple vehicles.
Oh,
Just tell your clients have uninsured motorist coverage because that's very important.
that's actually really that is good like life advice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll turn back to law and tell me for you in your 4 years, what is the best part for you about being a lawyer?
And the clients checks.
Yeah, that is good. I'm with you. Okay, now let's hear the worst part.
Dealing with insurance companies.
Hey, okay. Why is that?
It's like pulling teeth. I mean, this is just the reality of the thing. Like, there is nothing, I have nothing good to say about insurance companies. They're really bad. Every single one
Tell
of
me
them
how
only
you
care,
really feel.
every single one of them only care about their bottom lines. I wish people could understand what goes on behind the scenes of these car wrecks. I mean, they'll literally like offer people like fractions of their medical bills. Doesn't take into any consideration the inconvenience, the pain, the injury, what these people have gone through. If the public knew what these guys do, because all that stuff is inadmissible at trial. So they think you're coming in and you're saying, oh, especially if it's not an enormous wreck,
Mhm.
they think you're coming in and you're wasting their time. But they don't realize, you have a case, you might have $50,000 in medical specials. If your initial offer was 10 grand or 20 grand, what can you possibly do? So you file suit, and even if they offer you, 70 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand before trial, you've already spent $10,000, $15,000 working up that small case. The medical providers have to be paid back. And your clients waited for 3 or 4 years with COVID. It's sometimes can be even longer.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into these trials, and so
Oh yeah.
I really wish people. I mean, it's difficult having those conversations with clients.
Right.
Luckily, if you do enough litigation and you try enough cases, you start to get a little bit more respect from the insurance companies. Um, and so, you can get these cases done a little bit quicker, and get the client something that can really help them out. But you have certain insurance companies, Allstate, but many others, that will really nickel and dime
Mhm.
a victim, for several years, knowing that they can't afford it, especially during COVID, and it's all to get them to take a paltry offer, because you really can't do anything until a trier of fact, whether that be a judge or a jury,
Mhm.
um, makes the decision to pay you money. And that's the thing. At that point, and up until that point, there's absolutely no guarantees. So if these personal injury cases are a gamble, and that's another thing that needs to be taken into consideration. So you're talking about billion-dollar companies that are trying to pay people that they know they've hurt, and so
Mhm.
that's why I don't like them. And it's not just car insurance. It's literally every type of insurance company. They all have the same business model. You pay them money for them to make some excuse not to pay you when you actually need it.
Right.
That's
Right.
what this is. So
Mhm. So do you find is it hard to meet client expectations or to keep them um, satisfied knowing this? Do you go in and tell them, hey, it's a hard process, or how do you cull or deal with clients when you've got a situation like that?
rapport is, invaluable. You have to establish with the client up front, you know, who you are, what you do. Because the thing about it is you can't give them a number up front because you don't know how hurt it.
Right.
So there's certain questions you can't answer, but you do have to, temper expectations. With certain insurance companies, you know you're going to have to deal with certain things. With certain attorneys, you know you have to deal with certain things. And, you know, I have no problem with going ahead and telling my clients that up front. Like, look, this is the situation.
Right.
And with certain, and with certain fact patterns, if you have a disputed liability case, there's going to be a whole lot more issues. It's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
Products liability, medical malpractice is a whole heck of a lot different than your standard. Rear end collision, slip and falls, big difference. Dog bites, big difference. The law is different. The standards are different. If you can have a valid medical malpractice case, but if the injuries aren't there, nobody's going to take it because it costs six figures just to work the case up to trial.
Right.
And it's an unfortunate quirk to have it because the person had been wrong, but the way our current system is, there's nothing we can do about it. It's just not a viable case for us.
Right.
But in the same sense, you have a car wreck case where it certainly is a whole lot cheaper to work up. But if they're offering trash the whole way, you're at the mercy of the court system and getting to trial.
Right.
A lot of things happen when you get on a trial calendar. So that's one of the blessings of the case, but it takes years to get there. So, you need to deal with an attorney that understands the law, understands working up the case, and then understands how you can penalize them for not paying you. But all throughout that, the client has to be patient through the process. Because if they aren't patient and if they don't trust you, if they're in a situation where they say, hey, I really need the money, you have to settle my case. You have to do what you have to do. And sometimes that's unfortunate.
Right. So client trust is huge in your practice.
It's massive. And then in the same sense, unfortunately, you can't do anything about it at the time. But a lot of people don't protect themselves. Like I just said, I was involved in a wreck with multiple claimants. There was a minimum policy, which in Georgia is $25,000, $50,000 for the entire wreck. So that was all available money. If I didn't have uninsured motorist coverage, it'd be a bad day.
Yeah.
So in Florida, it's like $10,000, like 10-20s, and most people have the minimum coverages. Mm-hmm. So if you're seriously hurt, you need to be taking care of yourself with uninsured motorist coverage, because that's another thing you have to explain to clients. If they're really hurt, and a lot of them, and deservedly so, think that their case should be worth a whole heck of a lot more money.
Yeah.
And it is, but if the person has no assets and they're dealing with this minimum policy, you only have what's there. If you don't take care of your own self and get yourself uninsured enough, that means don't get yourself a minimum policy too. If you can get something better, because then even if you do have uninsured motorist coverage, you're still limited to what you have. And just one more thing, because I don't know if I made it clear. Almost never, if people are watching this, like, we are suing people that don't have insurance coverage. Like, we're dealing with insurance companies. Like, nobody's getting sued individually.
Right. Right.
There's so you don't have to worry about that when you're deliberating. Just throwing it out there, because some people still have that question. So,
right.
No, if an attorney is involved, you're not suing an individual person. There's an insurance company behind it.
Right. And do you find you have to explain that a lot to people when they're like, oh, I don't want to sue this person? Do you find that clients often think that way, or do you have to explain that often?
No, it's that's not their concern. It's more so the concern is they just don't want to go through the litigation process. It is a timely process. It is a grueling process. Discovery, you're really opening yourself up. If you're suing somebody, you're opening yourself up to a lot of information about your own self. And that stuff is discoverable. So a lot of people don't want to go through that. A lot of people don't want to sit through a deposition. That's public record. We can pull depositions from people that took them decades ago. And so, all that stuff is still out there.
Right.
And those are more so the concerns rather than actually suing an individual person. Because the thing about it is, unfortunately, I hate to say it like this, but if I was suing an individual person, I wouldn't be handling your case. So, it wouldn't even get there. I would tell you, hey, I apologize, but there's no coverage here.
Yeah.
So that's just really all it is to it.
Very neat. Well, that's interesting. That's a really interesting perspective from personal injury. I don't practice that, but it's really interesting hearing that side of the law. Well, let's go back to a few other questions I have that might be helpful for maybe people who are considering law school or people who are in law school. Do you have any tips for, let's start with people wanting to apply to law school. Do you have any advice for young people who want to go into law?
Get you a tutor for the LSATs. That's not something I did. I did decent on the LSATs. I probably could have did a lot better if I got a tutor. It's worth the money because you'll get more scholarship money. And so I had pretty good grades, and so I had a pretty good LSAT. So my payback amounts are in the five figures. I know plenty of people that have six-figure loans that they have to pay back. So do that. Like, do it.
That's great. I mean, it's great advice.
It's a lot of money that these people that you have to pay back. So there's a lot of very large loans out there. I know too. We all had to deal with it. These things. I mean, this thing is costly. So get you a tutor for LSAT. Study and make a good grade.
And apply for scholarships.
Yeah, apply. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. Especially if you're a minority or whether you're like me, who's a minority race, or like you're a female. There's plenty of scholarships out there, and for our white males, there are scholarships for y'all too. So don't think there aren't any there. In all seriousness, look for them. This stuff, it ain't cheap. Right. So we're not even going to pretend here. It's not cheap.
It is
so
not.
Take everything you can.
Absolutely, it's not. And I think that that takes a minute for it to set in how expensive it is. So that's fantastic. How about current law students? Do you have any advice for them as they are taking classes or preparing for the bar?
Actually study. Like some people don't do that. Like sometimes the simple tried and true thing is the easiest. Like your professionals know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like read the books. Get notes from your upperclassmen. They will give them to you. I've never had an issue. I've literally never had an issue with asking somebody when I was 1L, 2L, and when I was 3, I had no problem giving it to everybody else that asked for it.
Oh yeah.
Like ask. Like people are willing to help you out. But if you don't ask, they're not going to go seeking you out to help you out. Your professors will help you. Mm-hmm. People will be busy, so you have to pick the right times, and you may have to be diligent in asking. You may have to ask, give them reminders, but ask. Asking you shall receive. It can't hurt you. It can't hurt you. Worst they can do is say no. Then you're in the same position you were in before. Right. Yes, which is highly likely. Yeah. And then also, without question, get an internship. I had a job coming out of law school because of that. And so it's not a nice feeling to, I can't imagine it is. Luckily, I was not in that situation. But I cannot imagine it's a nice feeling leaving out of law school with what most people have is 6-figure loans and no job.
Oh, yeah.
So get an internship is very, very helpful. A lot of those firms will hire you back if and when you pass the bar. A lot of them will go ahead and hire you as soon as you took the bar, and will let you go ahead and do some work with them. And then when you get those passing results, you will see those checks get a lot larger. So by all means, definitely get an internship. It is more valuable than grades. Without question, you want people to know who you are.
Absolutely, that's great advice. And I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, internships are invaluable. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're running close to time. So do you care if we play a quick game for lawyer interviews?
Let's do it.
All right. Have you ever played, we're going to call it Shag, Marry, Kill. Sometimes it's called F, Marry, Kill. Have you ever played that game?
I've heard of it before, but I don't think I've ever played.
So you got to choose one to shag, one to marry.
I know that game.
All right. All right. Here we go. All right. Are you ready? All right. Okay. Shag, Marry, Kill. LexisNexis, Westlaw, Bloomberg.
I'm marrying Westlaw. I love Westlaw. I absolutely love Westlaw. We have Westlaw. I use it all the time. I'm a trial attorney. I love Westlaw.
All right.
I suppose I'm a shag with LexisNexis because I did also have some experience with that. And I do like it. I am not a Bloomberg fan, unfortunately. I'm sorry. That is more for our lovely what is it called? I can't remember. My mind is mush right now. What is that? Law review. That's for you
Oh
guys.
yeah, law review. Yeah, for
I
sure.
was a moot court mock trial guy. So
Very cool. Very
yeah.
cool. All right, now I'm gonna finish with a few either or questions, and we'll go rapid fire. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Zoom court or in-person court?
In court, definitely. I
Right.
want to be in court.
Big law or small law?
You know, I mean, I represent people, so I'm gonna go with small.
Okay. Very cool. Would you rather win on appeal or argue a case in front of the U.S. Supreme Court?
I mean, I'm about winning. If I'm just arguing, I don't care. Like, I want to win.
Oh, you want the dub. I get it. All right. Redo law school or redo undergrad?
Undergrad.
Okay. Take the bar exam again or swim with sharks?
I'm not swimming with sharks.
Take the bar exam again? Yeah. I probably become a Supreme Court justice or hold political office?
Which Supreme Court? And what political office?
We'll say U.S. Supreme Court and U.S. office, like a congressman.
Am I a House member or a senator?
You can be as high as you want. Senate. Go Senate.
Then I'll be a senator.
All right, Senator. All right. Well, we are almost out of time. Jamal, thank you so much for today. And if you want to let everyone know your handles so they can follow you on social media.
Sure. Now, I just want to make one mention on that. I don't want to be in court for trials, but as far as like, if I don't need to actually like argue anything, Zoom. Like, so yeah. But I think my handle is lift_law_life.
Okay.
I really don't care. So that shows it's a shame. I don't even know my own handle. But if you type in Jamal Bethune, it'll come up. So
We will put it on there. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today and answering some of these either ridiculous questions, but some of them were very, very interesting answers and really, really good for the community out there. So thank you for joining us today on Lawyer Interviews, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me. You have a lovely day as well.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.